Have you ever stood at the fish counter at your local Kroger or Safeway, holding a pack of salmon in your hands and thought, is it really worth it, both for my wallet and for my health? Especially if, like me, you are a mother, a wife, perhaps the daughter of elderly parents, and every meal in your house is not just a meal, but a decision on which the well-being of the whole family depends. Fish prices in the United States have increased by almost 30% over the past 5 years, according to the Department of Agriculture. And now the FDA's warnings: mercury in tuna, microplastics in sardines, the threat of depletion of ocean resources. And all this at a time when you just want to feed your loved ones something tasty, healthy, and honest. What if I tell you that the exit has been nearby for a long time, and it grows not in the water, but in the ground? Yes, it's about mushrooms. Not about those faceless champignons from the 90s that you may have tried and forgotten. I'm talking about shiitake with their deep flavor, the lion's mane that looks like crab meat, the portobello that turns into a juicy steak. Mushrooms are not a fashion, not a vegan whim. This is an ancient, time-tested alternative that is now scientifically proven, available in every supermarket, and surprisingly easy to prepare. Mushrooms are one of the most amazing creatures of nature. They are not plants or animals. They belong to a separate kingdom, evolutionarily even closer to us humans than to trees. Underground, they have a mycelium, a thin, invisible network that can extend over hundreds of acres and feed everything that grows around them. And above the ground are the hats that we put in the pot. And they are the secret of why mushrooms are so similar to fish, and even superior to it. Take shiitake. It has a dense texture and a rich umami flavor. This is the fifth basic taste, besides sweet, salty, sour, and bitter. Umami is often referred to as the taste of depth. It is what makes salmon so desirable at your dinner. But shiitake contains more natural glutamates than many varieties of fish. And the lion's mane? When frying, it splits into thin fibers resembling crab meat, with a slight marine note. This is not imagination. In 2022, scientists from the University of Oregon published a study showing that lion's mane extract activates the same taste buds as whitefish or crab, and at the same time, not a drop of cholesterol, not a trace of mercury, not a trace of microplastics. In the United States, the FDA regularly warns that tuna, swordfish, and even some varieties of mackerel can be dangerous for women over 35 and anyone with thyroid or metabolic problems. And the mushrooms? They can be eaten without fear, even for pregnant women, even for children. Moreover, they strengthen your health. Portobello, for example, is rich in selenium, a mineral that supports immunity and hormonal balance. Just 100 grams cover almost half of the daily allowance according to the standards of the NIH. That's the National Institutes of Health of the USA. Maitake, or dancing princess mushroom, as it was called in old Japan, people danced with joy when they found it, contains beta-glucans, substances that stimulate the immune system. In clinical trials at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York, patients taking maitake extract showed a 20% increase in T-cell activity over 3 months. It's not a cure, of course, but it's a powerful support, especially during the cold season or during times of stress. And we women, 30 to 60 years old, know what constant stress is. And yet, mushrooms are an eco-friendly choice. You know, fishing often destroys marine ecosystems. According to the EPA, ghost nets, abandoned by fishermen, kill millions of marine animals every year. And mushrooms, well, they're grown sustainably, on recycled straw, coffee grounds, even on old newspapers. There are actually farms in California and Pennsylvania where waste is turned into food. And in 2024, the USDA even began issuing grants to such farmers. And most importantly, mushrooms are practical. Fish must be eaten within 48 hours, otherwise you risk food poisoning. And the mushrooms? They can be sliced, frozen, and they won't lose their texture. I once found a bag of shiitake in the back corner of the fridge 10 days later, and to my surprise, they were fine. The fish would have already smelled, well, you know, and mushrooms forgive mistakes. Oversalted? They will absorb the excess. Forgot the spices? Their own taste will save the dish. Overcooked? It's edible anyway. In a world where everything has to be perfect, from food to appearance, it's a sense of relief. And the price? A pound of fresh shiitake costs between $6 and $9, like salmon. But dried mushrooms are a godsend. An ounce of dried shiitake is about $3, and it makes almost a whole pound after soaking. This is especially valuable if, like me, you count every penny in the family budget. And yes, they even sell them at Walmart. And at farmers markets, they are often local, without pesticides. Mushrooms are not exotic. This is an affordable, reliable, delicious reality for busy women who want to feed their family without compromise. You feel it too, don't you? That it's time to stop choosing between healthy and delicious, between expensive and honest. That I want simple solutions, without big promises, without idealism. It's just food that works. And if you recognize yourself, write in the comments. Mushrooms are my new fish. I will be very pleased to know that you are here. Don't forget to like it. It helps others who are looking for the same thing to find this video. And subscribe to the channel. There are still many honest, proven ideas ahead, from medicinal infusions to quick dinners on weekdays. And now, the most important thing, how to cook these mushrooms and how to use them not only in the kitchen, but also to support health. When I first decided to replace fish with mushrooms, to be honest, I doubted it. In my family, Friday has always been a fish day. Not for religious reasons, it just happened that way. Fried pollock, potatoes, a slice of lemon, and the feeling that everything is in order. Everything is under control. But then, about 8 years ago, problems with the thyroid gland began. The doctor advised to cut seafood because of the risk of mercury and excess iodine. I panicked. What should I cook now? Especially when the husband and children are used to a certain taste. Then I came across a recipe for tuna shiitake salad. It looked strange, dark mushrooms instead of pink fillets. But as soon as I tried it, I realized that this is what I need. The taste was deep, slightly smoky, with a slight sourness, almost like real tuna, but without the heaviness in the stomach that fish sometimes leaves. I've been experimenting ever since. And today I will share what really works. Not on a blog, but in my kitchen in the suburbs of Atlanta, where I cook for my husband, 2 teenagers, and sometimes for my mother, who still looks at my mushroom steaks with disbelief. Let's start with the simplest, pickled portobellos. This is my answer to fried whitefish, hake, cod, halibut. Take large caps, which are sold separately in most supermarkets in the USA. Carefully peel off the dark film from below, it can be bitter, and soak for 20 minutes in a mixture of soy sauce, apple cider vinegar, olive oil, and a pinch of smoky paprika. It is the smoky paprika that creates the very marine shade that we love so much. Then, on the grill or in the oven at 200 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes. It turns out a juicy, soft steak with a crust that goes great with mashed potatoes or stewed green beans. The cost of a serving is about $2. Salmon, from $6. And there is no health risk. And now, crab cutlets from Lion's Mane. I picked up this recipe from a chef in Austin, but adapted it for home cooking. Lion's Mane is still a rarity in regular stores, but it can be found at Whole Foods or ordered online, for example, at Fungi Perfecti. If you don't find it, shiitake will do, although the texture will be slightly less fibrous. Chop the mushrooms, boil them lightly for 5 minutes, squeeze them well. This is important, otherwise the cutlets will not hold. Then tear them with a fork to the state of torn meat. Add an egg, some gluten-free breadcrumbs, lemon juice, salt, and the secret ingredient, a drop of sesame oil. Not olive oil, not sunflower oil, but sesame oil. It creates the very nautical note that you are looking for. Form the patties and fry for 3 minutes on each side in a non-stick frying pan. Serve with a light salad or in a baguette. It will turn out almost like a crab roll from your favorite snack bar. And for those who like salads, the tuna version of shiitake. Mushrooms, if dried, soak in warm water for 20 minutes. If fresh, boil for 10 minutes. Then finely chop. Mix with chopped celery, a little red onion, mayonnaise. You can use avocado-based mayo. It tastes softer and is healthier. And a drop of wasabi. Yes, it is wasabi. It adds that very edge that we feel in sushi. This salad is perfectly stored for 2 days in the refrigerator. Ideal for those who have almost no strength to cook after work. And remember, mushrooms forgive inaccuracies. Did you overdo it with onions? Add more mushrooms. Is the salad a little dry? Add a drop of oil. This is a pressure-free kitchen. And now about the medicinal properties. I'm not a doctor, and mushrooms are not a cure. But as a woman who has been studying the topic for 10 years and consulting with nutritionists from Chicago and San Diego, I am sure that their potential is huge. For example, cordyceps, a mushroom that used to grow only in Tibet, but is now grown in laboratories in the United States, is known for increasing endurance. In a 2023 University of Colorado study, participants who took cordyceps extract for 12 weeks showed an 11% increase in VO2 max, maximum oxygen consumption. This is important for women over 40 who want to conserve energy for work, for children, for themselves. But cordyceps is more of an additive. But reishi, the mushroom of immortality, can be used as tea. It is bitter, but it powerfully calms the nervous system. I brew a teaspoon of reishi powder with boiling water. Insist for 15 minutes. Add honey and lemon. I drink before going to bed, and I sleep without waking up. Especially in times when everything is on your shoulders. Work, children, parents. And a lion's mane is not just for cutlets. It contains arenakins and geracetins, substances that stimulate BDNF, or brain neurotrophic factor, which is responsible for the growth of new neurons. With age, its level decreases, and that's actually why we start to notice more forgetfulness and fatigue. In a study in the International Journal of Medicinal Mushrooms, elderly participants who took lion's mane extract, 1 gram per day, showed improved memory after 16 weeks. Of course, this is not a substitute for a doctor, but as part of taking care of yourself, why not? In the USA, such mushrooms are sold in Sprouts, iHerb, and even in some pharmacies. And, importantly, they rarely interact with medications, but consult your doctor before taking them anyway, especially if you're on anticoagulants. And another of my favorite rituals is mushroom broth. Not chicken, not vegetable, but mushroom. I take dried shiitake, maitake, and chaga. This is an inedible mushroom, but it is used for infusions. Pour water and cook over low heat for 2 hours. It turns out to be a dark, fragrant broth with a deep taste. I drink it in the morning instead of coffee. Yes, you heard right. It gives you warm, calm energy without the tremors and anxiety of caffeine. And it strengthens the immune system, especially in winter. And most importantly, all these recipes and practices do not require turning your life around. You don't have to give up fish forever. Just try to replace it with mushrooms once a week. See how you feel. Perhaps you'll discover not just a new food, but a new attitude. To take care of yourself, to time, to a choice that does not make you worry. Because at the age of 45, you already know that life is too short for food, which brings neither joy nor peace. And mushrooms, they give you both. And if you've tried at least one of these recipes, write in the comments which one you like the most. Or just repeat, mushrooms are my new fish. This will help others find this video. Please like it if you appreciate honest, proven solutions without too much fuss. And subscribe to the channel. Ahead is a review of mushroom supplements that really work, and seasonal recipes that will cheer you up even on a gray November day in Seattle. Thank you for being here. You're exactly the audience I'm doing this for.